The human medical ship Hope's Mercy moved quietly through deep space. It was one of the most peaceful ships ever built by humans. Inside it were doctors, nurses, wounded soldiers, and civilians who needed urgent treatment. The ship carried no weapons. It carried no soldiers ready for war. It only carried life. The halls were calm. Machines beeped softly. Nurses checked patients with steady hands. Everyone on board trusted the same rule that had protected medical ships for centuries. No. Not. One attacks a healing ship, but space does not always follow rules. At exactly 2:14 ship time, the quiet alarms woke Dr. Adrian Hale. He was working alone in the research room, surrounded by holograms, medical reports, and glowing screens. He was known across the fleet as a genius, but he never talked about it. He never bragged. He spent most of his life helping the injured, solving medical problems, and designing ways to save lives faster. He loved peace more than anything. But when the soft alarm turned into a sharp warning tone, Adrian immediately looked up. The ship's main lights flickered. The emergency symbols flashed red across all screens. Incoming signals, unknown identities, distance, closing fast. Dr. Hale stood still for a moment, his calm eyes focused. Something felt wrong. Medical ships always gave warnings early, but this time, everything was happening too fast. The captain's voice echoed through the ship. All medical staff prepare for emergency protocol. We have unidentified ships approaching. I repeat, unidentified ships approaching. Several nurses ran past him in a panic. Dr. Hale did not panic. He simply took a slow breath and walked to the nearest window. Outside, through the transparent hull, he saw darkness shift. 4 large shadows appeared, blocking the distant stars. Their engines glowed like burning fire. They were too close. Much too close for comfort. Adrian narrowed his eyes. These ships were not here to talk. The intercom buzzed again. All hands brace for contact. They are not responding to our hails. For 1 second, the whole medical ship fell silent. Then the first blast hit. The impact shook Hope's Mercy from one end to the other. The explosion ripped through the left side of the ship, throwing everyone off their feet. Lights went out. Fire alarms screamed. Patients began crying out in terror. Another strike hit the hull, harder this time. Metal screeched like it was tearing apart. Dr. Hale quickly moved to a nearby, injured crew member and pulled him out from under fallen equipment. He never hesitated. His mind worked faster than the alarms. The ship shook against another enemy blast. Someone shouted, "Why are they firing at us? We are a medical ship." But no answer came. The aliens attacking them did not care who they were. They did not care about the Red Cross symbols painted on the ship. They did not care about the wounded or the doctors. They only cared about destruction. The hallways filled with smoke. Sparks fell from broken lights. The smell of burning cables filled the air. Nurses rushed to protect their patients. Covering them from falling debris, Dr. Hale took command without waiting for permission. Move all patients to the central chamber. Seal off all breached sections. Anyone who can walk must help others. His voice was firm, steady, and impossible to ignore, even in chaos. People listened to him. The emergency shields flickered weakly as the alien warship circled for another strike. The Hope's Mercy was not built for battle. It was shaking apart with every blast inside the bridge. The captain shouted, "Send a distress signal to the nearest human fleet. We cannot hold them. We need help now." A young officer replied, voice trembling, signal sent. But the nearest fleet is hours away. Hours, the medical ship would not survive minutes. Another explosion hit the lower decks. The floor trembled so violently that many fell again. A small fire burst out near a patient chamber. Dr. Hale grabbed an extinguisher from the wall and put it out while ordering 2 medics to carry unconscious survivors to safety. He never showed fear. But deep inside, he felt something harder than fear forming. Something cold. Something sharp. A promise. The ship's AI system spoke in a broken voice. Warning. Critical damage to main reactor. Structural collapse in progress. The crew's faces turned pale. The aliens attacked again, this time with a hit that broke the ship's spine. A massive explosion tore through the center, splitting corridors and sending flames across the medical ward. The entire ship groaned. Like a dying creature, Dr. Hale helped drag a wounded child into an escape pod. A nurse shouted, "Doctor, the hull won't last. We need to go." Adrian looked around the burning hall. There were no more survivors here. He made sure of that. He stepped into the escape pod. Just as another explosion threw metal fragments everywhere, the pod hatch sealed. The escape system launched automatically, pushing them away from the dying medical ship. Through the small window, Dr. Hale watched Hope's Mercy burn. The bright blue engines of the alien ship circled it like predators enjoying their kill. He did not scream. He did not cry. He did not curse. He simply stared, silent and still, as the ship he had served and protected for years exploded into a bright ball of fire. The nurse whispered beside him, voice shaking, "Doctor, what happens now?" Dr. Adrian Hale answered softly, but with a cold strength that cut through the silence. "Now, the galaxy learns what it means to attack a human medical ship." The escape pod drifted into dark space behind it. Hope's Mercy was gone, but something far more dangerous had awakened. Asterisk. The escape pod floated through dark space like a single tear lost in the night. Inside it, Dr. Adrian Hale sat silently beside the nurse and the few survivors he had saved. He did not look afraid. He did not look angry. He only stared forward, as if he could still see the burning remains of Hope's Mercy even after it disappeared behind them. Every second, the pod drifted farther from the attack site. And every second, Dr. Hale's mind worked faster than the stars around him. After nearly an hour, a human patrol ship finally reached them. Rescue drones pulled the pod into the hangar. Medical officers rushed in. Survivors were lifted out carefully. The nurse grabbed the rescuer's arms, crying and shaking. But Dr. Hale stepped out on his own. No limp, no weakness, no panic. He walked with quiet purpose, his eyes cold and emptied of fear. The patrol ship's commander, Captain Laura Rains, approached him. "Dr. Hale, we received your distress signal. What happened out there?" He gave a short answer, his voice steady as stone. "An unprovoked attack. For alien warships, no warnings, no mercy." Rains swallowed. Everyone knew attacking a human medical ship was the highest crime in the galaxy. It broke every treaty. It broke ancient interspecies laws. It was something no empire dared to do. "Do we know who attacked?" she asked. Dr. Hale looked her directly in the eyes. "We will soon." He did not wait for permission. He walked past her and headed straight into the ship's command center. Inside the command center, the room fell quiet when Dr. Hale entered. Officers recognized him immediately. Whispers moved like sparks. "That's Dr. Hale. The man who rewrote fleet medicine? He predicted the Tauran attack months before it happened. He corrected a star navigation system by memory. Everyone knew his reputation. Everyone respected his mind." He stopped in front of the central holotable. "I need full access to the patrol ship's sensors, enemy data, communication logs, and long-range scanners." The commander blinked. "Doctor, we haven't even identified the attackers yet." "You will," he answered, "but I must find them first." Captain Rains hesitated for only 2 seconds. Then she nodded to her officers. "Give him everything." Within minutes, the holotable filled with floating maps and glowing data streams. Dr. Hale moved through them quickly, touching one image, swiping through another. "Analyzing patterns faster than the computers? What exactly are you doing?" Rains asked. Dr. Hale spoke without looking up. "The attackers used silent engines. No identification signals. That means only one thing. They planned this for a long time." His fingers moved across the screen. Enemy movement trails appeared. "Their formation was military," he continued. "Their first attack targeted the left medical bay. They wanted maximum casualties." The officers stared at him. "How can you know that so fast?" One whispered. Dr. Hale finally looked up. "Because I know how people think. Even when they try to hide it." The discovery? He tapped the screen again. A cluster of star roots glowed red. There, that is their escape path. They were heading toward the Ralgon sector. Captain Rains stiffened. Ralgons know? They would never be foolish enough. They were, Hale said. And they think humans will stay silent. They are wrong. He closed the hologram and folded his hands behind his back. Captain, I need a lab, a workstation, and isolated access to your ship's AI. No one disturbs me. The officers exchanged nervous glances. Rains asked quietly, Doctor, what are you planning? Dr. Hale finally gave an answer that made everyone in the room straighten. I am planning justice. The lab within the hour, he was in a small research lab deep within the patrol ship. The door locked behind him. The room filled with white screens, floating holograms, and stacks of data about enemy fleets, hardware. And old war records, Dr. Hale began working. He studied the energy signatures of the alien weapons that struck Hope's Mercy. He compared star route patterns. He analyzed communication leaks. He reviewed every known movement of the Ralgon Empire in the last 10 years. He worked with zero breaks. Hours passed. He did not eat. He did not sleep. The ship's AI asked politely every few hours, Dr. Hale, would you like rest? No, he replied. Rest is for peace, and peace is gone. He wrote new algorithms by hand. He built models of enemy fleets. He tested hacking patterns. His fingers moved so fast across the screen it looked like a blur. His eyes never blinked long enough to show fatigue. Outside the lab, crew members whispered again, he has not moved in 3 hours. He has not taken water. Did he really work like this during the Orion War? If he is planning something, the Ralgons should be afraid. Inside the lab, Dr. Hale ran his final simulation. On the screen, a glowing map of the Ralgon fleet appeared. He watched as his newly designed system entered their frequencies, twisted them, then turned their own ships against one another. He did not smile. He did not celebrate. He only whispered, it will work. The moment the galaxy shifts, Captain Rains knocked softly on the lab door. Doctor, we are approaching human space. The Council wants your report. Dr. Hale turned toward the door with calm precision. There is no report, he said. Only a message. And what message is that? She asked. His eyes turned sharp and cold. Carrying the full weight of someone who had seen innocent people burn. Tell them the attackers have been found. And soon, the galaxy will remember what happens when someone harms a human medical ship. He stepped out of the lab. He looked different now. Calm, but deadly calm. Quiet, but cold enough to make even soldiers step back. Something fierce had awakened inside him. Not rage. Not revenge. Purpose. A purpose sharp enough to cut an empire. The patrol ship turned toward. Human Command Dr. Adrian Hale walked forward with steady steps and far across the stars. The Ralgon Empire had no idea that their destruction had already begun. Asterisk. The Human Council held its emergency meeting inside a great circular chamber made of white metal and blue holograms. Admirals, generals, diplomats, and intelligence officers stood in silence as Dr. Adrian Hale entered. He walked slowly, quietly, with a calmness that felt more dangerous than any weapon. He carried no rank. He wore no uniform. But everyone felt the change in the air when he stepped inside. The council chairwoman spoke first. Dr. Hale. We received the report from the patrol ship. A human medical ship was destroyed. Many innocent people died. We are ready to help you bring them justice. Dr. Hale did not bow. He did not waste time on greetings. He placed a small cube on the table. The lights dimmed. A hologram burst out, showing 4 alien warships surrounding Hope's Mercy. The moment of attack played again in the center of the room. Every member of the council watched as the medical ship exploded into flames. Some covered their mouths. Some whispered curses. Some lowered their eyes in grief. When the image finished, Dr. Hale finally spoke. This, he said, is not an accident. It is not a misunderstanding. It is a message. The chairwoman nodded slowly. We agree. The Ralgon Empire broke the law of peace. We can begin military planning immediately. Dr. Hale raised one hand. No, he said. Not military planning. They expect a fleet. They expect war. Everyone stared at him, he continued, voice cold and steady. We will not give them what they expect. The plan no one dared imagine her. Hale tapped the table. The holograms shifted again, showing a map of the Ralgon Empire. Thousands of red dots appeared, ships, bases, stations, supply lines. Admiral York leaned forward. Doctor, this is their entire battle network. Correct? Hale said. And I've already infiltrated it. A thick silence fell. The intelligence director blinked. Impossible. Their encryption is layered with living organic coding. Dr. Hale replied softly, I broke it in 2 hours. Everyone stared at him, stunned. He pointed at the map again. One red dot blinked brighter than the rest. This is the location of the Ralgon Celebration Fleet. 38 warships. The same fleet that ordered the attack on Hope's Mercy? Admirals muttered among themselves. The chairwoman asked quietly, what exactly do you plan to do? Dr. Hale stepped toward the hologram. The blue light reflected in his eyes like fire. I will make them destroy themselves. Inside the Ralgon Empire, thousands of light years away, the Ralgon Celebration Fleet gathered above a red desert moon. Their ships were decorated with glowing symbols. Their commanders celebrated loudly, drinking, laughing, boasting about the destruction of the human medical ship. To them, it was a show of power, a warning to the galaxy, proof that humans were weak. The Ralgon fleet commander spoke proudly to his officers. Humans cry after losing one ship. They talk about honor, peace, laws, weak words for a weak species. The room burst into laughter, but deep inside the ship's computers, something changed. A single line of code appeared, then another, then 100 more. Invisible, silent, deadly. Something was waking inside their system. The first sign on the bridge of the Ralgon flagship, a young technician frowned. Commander, why are our engines activating? What? The commander snapped. I did not order engine activation. The ship's engines glowed bright blue. Too bright. Too hot, and then all the other ships in the fleet activated their engines at the same time. The commander shouted, Shut them down. Shut them down now. We cannot. The technician yelled, The controls are frozen. Then one by one, the ships began turning toward each other. The moment the galaxy realizes the truth back in the human council chamber. The hologram suddenly changed. A real-time feed appeared on the screen. Dr. Hale's program was broadcasting the enemy, fleet's final moments. The 38 Ralgon warships drifted in perfect circles. Engines glowing, weapons activating without permission. Ralgon officers screamed. Orders were shouted. Systems sparked. Nothing responded. Dr. Hale stood still, watching quietly. No emotion, no satisfaction, only a cold acceptance of what must happen. The council members watched in frozen horror as the enemy ships pointed their weapons at one. Another dot, and then the first ship. Fair blast tore through a neighboring vessel, splitting it in half. The explosion spread to 2 more ships. Flames burst across the formation. Officers tried to escape, but the doors refused to open. The automated systems kept locking them inside their own doom. Stop shooting. One commander screamed into comms. Someone stop this. But another Ralgon ship fired, then another, and another. The entire fleet turned into a storm of fire. Ships collided and exploded. Engines overloaded and burst. Weapons misfired and tore hulls apart. War cries turned into panicked screams. The whole sky above the desert. Moon became a burning ocean of falling metal. One Ralgon commander shouted into the Universal Emergency Channel. Who is doing this? Who? He never finished the sentence. His ship detonated mid-dash scream. The aftermath every human council member stared at Dr. Hale with wide eyes. The chairwoman whispered, Doctor, what have you done? Dr. Hale answered calmly, I ended the fleet that murdered innocent people. You made them kill themselves, an admiral said, voice shaking. No, Hale corrected. I let their own systems follow the commands they already built. Their arrogance destroyed them. I only showed them the path. A silence. Heavy, unforgettable. Dr. Hale turned off the hologram. Let the galaxy see this, he said. Let them understand humans do not seek war. But we do not forgive attacks on the helpless. The intelligence director swallowed hard. The Ralgon Empire. They will be terrified. Yes, Dr. Hale said softly. That is the point. A warning written in Fire DR. Hale walked out of the council chamber. He did not celebrate. He did not look pleased. He looked tired, quiet, resolved. He had shown the galaxy something new. Humanity is peaceful till someone burns a medical ship. Then peace becomes something deadly and far away across the stars. Every empire watched the burning remains of the Ralgon fleet and whispered the same words. Never anger a human genius. News of the Ralgon fleet's destruction spread across the galaxy faster than any message in history. Every empire, every trading hub, every pirate channel, every military outpost whispered the same story. The humans did not attack them. Their own fleet destroyed itself. It shocked everyone. It scared everyone. But no one understood the truth behind it, except a small circle inside human command, and Dr. Adrian Hale. For 3 days, Hale remained silent. No interviews. No reports. No statements. He spent his hours walking through the new human medical station orbiting Earth. The place was peaceful. Bright and full of young doctors training for future missions. Whenever they passed him, they saluted respectfully. They knew who he was. They had heard what happened, but he did not act like a hero. He looked tired. He looked like a man carrying the weight of something heavy and quiet. One evening, stopped at the window overlooking Earth. The blue planet glowed softly below. Lights shimmered across the continents. It was peaceful and calm. A voice spoke behind him. You saved countless lives, Dr. Hale. He turned slightly. It was Captain Rains, the same officer who saved him from the escape pod. Hale nodded politely. Did I? Or did I only delay something that was already coming? She stepped beside him. You sent a message to the galaxy. No one will dare touch a human medical ship again. Hallie stared at Earth for a long moment. Yes, he said softly. But peace built on fear is not truly peace. The Ralgon Empire breaks far across the galaxy. The Ralgon Empire was in chaos. Their emperor shouted in rage. Generals argued. Civilians panicked. Every soldier was afraid to even activate a weapon system, terrified it might turn on them. The galaxy watched, stunned. As the mighty Ralgon Empire sent a rare public transmission to the humans, we request negotiations. We request peace. We request forgiveness. That shocked even the oldest historians. The Ralgons had never apologized to anyone. Not in 1,000 years. Not for anything. But the destruction of their celebrated fleet had changed them. Had humbled them. Had terrified them. They waited for a response from the human council. And they waited. And waited silence because the council was not in charge this time. The galaxy knew whose voice they waited for. Dr. Adrian Hale, the call inside the new medical station. The main comm screen lit up. A message displayed, Ralgon Empire requests direct communication with Dr. Adrian Hale. Doctors and technicians stepped back instantly. Everyone understood the importance of this moment. Hale walked slowly to the screen. He did not adjust his coat. He did not prepare a speech. He simply pressed the button. The face of the Ralgon Emperor appeared. His eyes showed fear he desperately tried to hide. Human, he began, we regret the attack on your medical ship. It was not the will of the Empire, eh? Rogue Commander, miscommunication, a mistake. Dr. Hale looked at him without blinking. A mistake, Hale repeated softly. Is that what you call the death of innocent people? The Emperor swallowed hard. We will punish those responsible. We will pay reparations. We will repair what we destroyed. We ask only that you do not harm our people further. For a moment, The galaxy held its breath. What would the human genius say? Would he demand a war? Would he demand the Emperor's surrender? Would he demand the destruction of their fleet? Hal gave none of those demands. Instead, he spoke 12 words. Never attack a human medical ship again. Never harm the innocent. The Emperor blinked, confused. Is that all? Hale leaned closer. His voice was so cold it felt like ice cutting through the transmission. Because if you do, no empire in the galaxy will save you from what comes next. The Emperor lowered his head in fear. We understand. The law will be changed immediately. Hole ended the call. The new galactic law 2 days later. The Galactic Council, made up of hundreds of species, announced a historical update. The Sanctuary Code, Article 1. A human medical ship is neutral territory. Article 2. Any attack on a human medical ship is an attack on the entire galactic community. Article 3. Any empire violating. This rule is subject to universal defense protocols. It became the strongest law ever written. Empires that once looked down on humans now bowed their heads. Pirates reprogrammed their ships to avoid medical vessels. Even hostile species placed human medical ships on their do not touch lists. The galaxy finally understood. Humans protect life. Humans heal others. But when someone attacks their healers, humanity becomes something unstoppable. The final moment of quiet DR. Holly returned to the balcony overlooking Earth. The sky was quiet. The lights were soft. He could finally hear the calm hum of the station, a sound he once feared he might never hear again. Captain Rains approached him again. Doctor, the council wants to honor you publicly. They want to give you a medal. Ali shook his head slowly. I do not need a medal. She smiled gently. Everyone knows. You ended a war before it began. Perhaps, Hale said, but I did not do it for glory. I did it because I saw innocent lives burn. He looked at Earth again. A planet full of life? A place worth protecting. Captain Rains asked softly, Doctor, what will you do now? For the first time since the attack, Dr. Adrian Hale allowed himself a small breath of peace. I will go back to helping people, he said. Healing, teaching, building new medical ships. The galaxy knows the rule now. That is enough. Rains saluted him quietly. Thank you. Doctor, she said. He nodded but kept his eyes on Earth. In that moment, the galaxy did not fear him. The galaxy respected him because one man with a mind sharper than war had protected every healer in the stars and written a law no one would dare break again.